Hey there, welcome. Welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. Delighted to share this time with you because we're going to be having a conversation that I hope you'll enjoy. I am Priscilla and this is The Chat. I'm so glad you're joining me. Pull up a chair, enjoy. We're going to be talking to a personality whose ministry, whose songwriting, whose music has gone literally around the world. She is a delight to know. I cannot wait to sit down and chat with her and with you. Stay tuned. Hey there, welcome. I'm Priscilla. I'm so glad that you're joining me. This is The Chat. You've kind of stumbled into our little living room here where we just kind of hang out and talk about some things that we hope will be fun for you to listen to, but also will challenge you or excite you in some way, inform you maybe about something that we want you to know about. Today we're just having a whole lot of fun. This is part 2 of a conversation we've already been having. So if you have not tuned into part 1 of this one, you're going to want to go back and see it because it cracked me up. Let me tell you. But this is part 2 of a conversation we have already been having with the beautiful Jamie Grace, who is here. But we're adding someone to the conversation, aren't we, Jamie? Why don't you introduce her?
Oh my goodness, do I get to?
Yes, do it.
Okay, well, she is my guitar teacher. She's my best friend, and she feeds me, so I love her so much.
Yes.
My big sister, Morgan Harper Nichols.
Let's welcome her. Come on in.
You're not really on.
Oh,
I'm so glad to be here.
y'all are hugging each other like y'all don't see each other all the time.
We don't.
Yeah,
but
we really don't.
Like, I'm way more
cameras.
of like the huggy person than she is. She was being sweet. I mean, she's always sweet, but I hug her way more.
She is the initiator of the hugs.
Yes, I love hugs.
So you don't need all that.
Yeah, I mean, I think we have a good relationship, and if hugging is a part of it, then all right.
I hug her all the time. It's the best.
Which one of you is?
Oops, sorry, I gave it away.
So she's the little sister. You're the oldest.
Yes.
No,
Okay. Yeah.
I'm old. Yeah, she's older. Sorry, I won't lie. We're limited on time. She's the oldest by 2 years.
Yes, I'm the oldest by 2 years.
Which one of you is the bigger character? I feel like I know the answer to
I feel
this.
like Morgan has more personality. Do you see those lips?
Totally,
Bright red.
yeah.
Crazy.
I bring all the energy.
Yeah.
I have no idea what's happening right now.
Tell me about it. Welcome to my life.
No, she's so normal. She and our dad are all kinds of normal. My mom and I are nuts.
Is that the way it is?
Yeah,
kind of you
that
and your
was
dad?
a statement. Everything I said before was a lie, but that was true.
That's true. So how are you like your dad? How is she like your mom?
Well,
You can talk.
yeah.
Go ahead,
How
Morgan.
am I like him? Well,
Y'all are just normal.
Yeah, we're just. I guess. I mean, we
They're
both.
really quiet.
Jamie, excuse me, ma'am.
I'm trying so hard. I can't.
I'm talking
Yes.
Morgan. Do we need to remove you
it's
from
my
the sofa?
turn. Yes.
You might need to.
Probably. That's probably what has to happen. Well, we're as my mom says, probably the best adjective is reserved.
Yes.
Reserved
Okay,
is
you're
probably I can sit back and take things in, and then if I want to say something, then I will. But
She keeps looking at me.
yeah,
It's not my fault.
because I'm waiting to see how you're going to add to this.
I
know it's coming.
You know, this is interesting dynamic though. I'm kind of wondering, because I'm watching you, you keep looking back at her. And I'm wondering, excuse me, Jamie, I'm talking.
It's really entertaining, actually.
But I'm wondering, because she's got this demonstrative personality, and you're more of a reserved
I just gotta
personality.
hang back.
But
It's okay.
have you spent your life kind of hanging back, or kind of just looking to Jamie to answer to do it?
And it's really funny because Jamie, like you shared earlier, she's done a lot with her music career, as we were in the past 3 or 4 or 5 years or so, and I also do music, and a lot of people will pull me over to the side at a show, and they'll be like, oh, how is it like having a little sister who's so much more successful than you, or she does all this stuff? And I just tell them, I'm like, no, you've got it all wrong. I just make her do all the hard work, and I just reap the benefits. Like, it's like, we made it. I was like, yeah. I'm like, it's great. She went out there and
paved the way for you.
Hundreds of shows a year, and I get to just walk on and hang out. It's great.
Yeah, there you go.
So, it's not all bad. It's not all bad, but I always think it's fun. I'm like, I appreciate the concern, but seriously, don't worry about me. Like, this is a
but has it never been a struggle for you, competition? Because you both love music.
Yeah.
You are an incredible, listen to me. You have one of, I can't wait for everybody to hear you sing. You have one of the most rich, full, memorable voices I have never heard. It's almost like Tracy Chapman quality.
Thank you.
It's
you
this
so much.
deep, melodic, beautiful sound that everybody can't muster up, girl. You got a gift. You really, really do.
Thank you so much.
So since both of you are so gifted, has there ever been a time where you have had to, I mean, just let's be real, has there been a time where you've kind of struggled with feeling a bit of, whether it's jealousy or whether it's a bit of, why not me, or competition? Have y'all struggled with that at all?
I think for me, the biggest thing that I had to struggle with is that for me, it's so out of my comfort zone to get up in front of people and sing.
Is it? Okay.
So I never dealt with seeing my sister doing it. I never dealt with seeing her doing it and saying, oh, that should be me. But the opposite happened. I said, oh, that's not me. That's her thing. That's not my thing. I'm not supposed to sing.
So
I'm fine.
even though you had
I sort of built, I sort of just, and I still do it now.
We have to beg her to sing.
Really, and that's kind of what it came to, is that I have a huge passion for writing, and I'm definitely, I journal a lot, I write a lot. I've been writing, there's like this nerdy thing called National Novel Writing Month every November. I've done it every November since like high school. I love to write.
Okay, she won't brag on herself, but she has an amazing women's ministry called White Women Co. She does daily devotionals, and it is legitimately viral on Pinterest and Instagram. She's an incredible writer, like inspirer.
But seriously, that's kind of what it came down to. I don't really feel comfortable naturally sharing, hey, here's what I do, here's my book, here's my business card. I'm perfectly content hiding behind a computer screen, just typing away, writing away. But what God has shown me is that God works in us when he takes us out of our comfort zone. And he has shown me that over and over again. The second I get comfortable, the second I'm like, okay, I'm okay not being in the spotlight. I'm okay playing the background. I'm okay hiding behind a computer. That's when he opens up a door and pushes me out there, says, yeah, but I need you to trust me, and I need you to get out there, and you're going to do that for me. So that's
here's
been
the
my
question.
experience.
I love this. I love this so much. Okay, here's the question. How do you get over the hurdle of fear and insecurity that would keep you back from doing what you know God is pressing you to do? Because this is, you're giving us the specifics of your scenario, but all of us have been in that position in one way or another, where we feel more comfortable in one setting, but we feel God prompting us into another, and it doesn't matter what the scenario details are, you still got to make a choice not to let fear keep you from going forward. So how do you do that? How do you say, you know what, Morgan, we're going to do this today, even if we don't feel like it. How do you do that?
I honestly have to remember people. There have been times in my life where I've played a show or I've spoken to a group of people and someone walked up to me and said, I really needed that. Thank you for saying that. And I have to hold on to that because I don't have anything to do with that. That just shows to me that God used me as a vessel to speak to someone. So who am I to hold back? And if he's given me an opportunity, even if it makes me uncomfortable, even though it's totally out of my comfort zone, I'd rather just hide in a corner. Naturally, I'm okay with that. Like, I'm perfectly content with that. If God's asking me to do something, I have to do it. And if he's gonna use me, I can't take that for granted. I can't take that for granted. So, you know, I have to have a lot of pep talks with myself. I really do. I really do.
Yes, girl.
Because it's not natural for me. And I definitely, even when I'm performing, I always take the time to speak to people about that because I know that there are other people out there who feel that way, like whether it's stage fright or you don't want to speak up at work or whatever it is. Like we all have things where we're like, you know, I'm comfortable here, I feel safe, but I feel like God has told me, like, I want you out of that safety zone. Like, I didn't create that, you just stay in your little personal safety net.
You know what's so interesting to me is that I think we have a habit of praying and saying, Lord, I want a miracle. I want to see you move, God. But then in the next breath, we have a habit of praying, Lord, please keep me out of any situation in which a miracle would actually be required.
Yes.
It's like we want to see God move, but we don't want to go into the risky places of faith. Where honestly, he's trying to beckon us there because in that place we get to see him. It's like he's trying to answer our prayer, but we keep going, not me, not me. And I want you to know that I applaud you for that so much, and I resonate with it so much because I have a track record with God from the time I was your age, about 22 years old or so, till now, 40 years old. My track record with God is that he has always put me in a position where I was in over my head. I have always been in over my head. From when I first started speaking, it wasn't a plan to speak. I'd be on a platform and everybody else would be in their 40s and here I was, this 22-year-old. I always felt outmatched to the Kendrick brothers calling and saying, we want you to be on a big screen in a movie. I said, you want me to do what? But if I let fear go, keep me crippled and paralyzed, I would have never had the treat for the past 18 years of seeing God, not only his strength be perfected in my weakness, but see him pull potential out of me I didn't even know was there. It's like I didn't even know the stuff you put in me. You only get to know it when you go out there on the water, then you get to see yourself walk on it. You know what I mean? By God's grace. So I applaud you for that. I'm glad that you're sharing that message. Tell us about your ministry to young women.
Yes, and that was another place where I started it out of comfort. I said, this is a place, I love to blog, I love to write, I can hide behind my computer. I did it anonymously. I didn't put my name on my website, my picture was not on there. I just don't do that naturally. But however, I wrote this blog post called 40 Questions to Ask Yourself Before You Date a Guy. Because I just got married and my husband was my first boyfriend. So I didn't have like this whole like dating history or anything. But
your husband is her manager, both of you managers?
Tour manager. So he works.
Now he's her tour manager full time, but he tour managed me for 2.5 years. He
Got
started off doing my merch.
He
had to work his way to the tour manager position. He started off moving boxes.
Well, he obviously worked his way into a lot of different things.
He's great.
He's great. Postures. Yes.
That's not even, everybody thinks that we met in music. We actually met in college, but that's where we met. And then as we were getting married, that's when Jamie was starting to do music full time. So it just a whole bunch of things started happening at the same time. But a lot of young women, because I was 20 years old when I got married, so a lot of younger women, teen girls, they were starting to ask me like, how did you know he was the one? And asking me all these questions. I was like, all right, I'm just going to put it in a blog post. I'm just going to write it.
How did you know he was the one, Morgan?
Well, I knew because this is going to sound really strange, but he wouldn't go away. As JB talked about, as JB was talking about earlier, just, growing up, a preacher's daughter, you hear, oh, a guy has to pursue you and all of this. And I believed that, but then it took me a while to realize that he was pursuing me. And God had literally placed him in his...
It took you a while to realize, oh, this is what it looks like.
I was like, oh, wait, this is it.
We
all right.
all knew for
everyone
a long
around
time.
me was like, Morgan. But, me being in my comfort zone, I'm like, no, I'm okay. Like, I'm not going to talk to a guy right now. But I really had to humble myself because I did like him, but I put up a wall. I put up a wall because I was like, no, can't be it. Like, I'm not trying to get out my comfort zone. So that's sort of the short thing is that God really humbled me. He sent someone into my life who became a believer as an adult. My husband was 18 when he accepted Christ. And just hearing his story and seeing the way that he lived out his faith, it really spoke to me. And it became very clear that God was speaking to me through him. So that's what I would tell a lot of people. And my ministry, honestly, is a lot of that as well. So it started as a blog, and now it's grown to something way bigger than I ever thought it would ever be, and it's been great. It's a crazy journey. But.
And you've just recently moved to my neck of the woods.
Yes.
So you're living in Dallas now. And what brought y'all to Dallas? What prompted the move?
Yes. Well, we've been married, Patrick and I, for 5 years. And ever since we got married, we've always prayed and said, God, we will go wherever it is you want us to go. And we never had anywhere on the map in particular that we wanted to go. But a little over a year ago, we were in Texas working, doing music there. And it was almost at the exact same time that we almost audibly heard God say to us, this is where you're supposed to be. And it was the strangest thing for us because we had never talked about moving to Texas. We had never considered it. And we'd only been there a few times just playing shows and working there. So we started to just pray about it and talk about, what does this even mean? And it was just such a crazy thing that started to unfold. I started to get emails from women in my ministry that had been writing and contributing, and many of them were based in Texas. And I was like, that's kind of strange. I never noticed that before. And then we just, with music, just playing a lot of shows and doing a lot of things on the West Coast, and we just felt God calling us to be in the middle, in a central place. And honestly, it was a huge faith move, and we definitely feel like it's where we're supposed to be.
Well,
so
there you are in a
yes.
new place for God to do new things through your life and your ministry and all that. And we want to hear y'all sing. We want to hear you
We can do that.
Yes. So we're going to take just a little break, and then we're going to come back, me and my blue extension.
I got to give me some color.
I've decided, this is what I've decided. I have decided that from now on, this is not my real life. People think this is what I do all the time.
No, you're so cool. Seriously.
I'm at home with some boys doing laundry, trying to figure out new ways to cook chicken for dinner.
That's literally what I do all day.
She really cooked all day.
I cook like 6 times a week, and
because you love to cook.
I love to cook.
Yeah, it's a little different. It's different. It's different. I love to cook too, but it's different when you got people all up on you, pulling on you all the time. But I'm saying, this is what I'm saying. I'm saying that if I put a blue clip-in in and a tutu and boots and a hat on while I'm cooking, I will just feel so much better about my life.
You will.
That is
People
what
might
I've
even think you're Jamie Gray.
We'll be back in just a moment, and we're going to hear these two beautiful women sing. You're not going to want to miss this. Please stay tuned. If you're feeling discouraged and defeated, if you're a bit overwhelmed or maybe even feeling undone, if you're wondering whether or not your future has any hope of victory, then listen, this Bible study is for you. Strongholds are torn down by the Word of God. Fortresses are dismantled by the Word of God. When you place faith in Jesus Christ, the righteousness of Christ is credited to your spiritual bank account. That you are the righteousness of God in Christ Jesus. I invite you to join me for a lesson in putting on the full armor of God. Our lives are going to be changed, yours and mine, because we're going to learn that we've got the victory in Jesus' name. All righty. Here to sing White Boots, Jamie and Morgan. Take it away, girls.
Little girl dreams are bigger than they seem. I'm thinking about the future in my daily routine. I want a blue house and a picket fence. That's the kind of innocence that it makes me want to wait until my wedding day. I'll be standing face to face with the love I know is true. I'll promise him forever from the day we see I do. I got my white boots, my white dress, and baby I ain't getting them touched. All I need you to bring are the rings, and I know in time I'll be ready, 'cause I've been waiting for you in my white boots, yeah.
Oh. Well, I'm going on 5 years with the love of my life, and everything about it makes the wait worth the while. You see, it wasn't always easy, but I listened for the truth. So don't give up, true love is gonna find you, and you'll be standing face to face with the love you know is true.
I'll promise him forever from the day we say I do. I got my white boots, my white dress, and baby I ain't getting them dusty. All I need you to bring are the rings, and I know in time I'll be ready, 'cause I've been waiting on you in my white boots,
In my white boots.
So get your white tux, your new shoes, and baby don't go get in them dust. I got that 1, 2, 3. I got my white boots, my white dress, and baby I ain't getting them dusty. All I need you to bring are the rings, and I know in time I've been waiting, 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 waiting. I've been waiting, 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 waiting on you. In my wife, ooh,
In my wife, ooh.
in my wife, ooh,
In my wife, ooh.
in my wife, ooh,
In my wife,
yeah. Oh, and I ain't getting them dusty.
It was our mom. We added to it, but our mom came up with the whole concept, and we wrote it with her. So yeah, she's a genius.
She must be. Mostly because she homeschooled you and is still alive.
You know what? Amen, amen. That's why I'm the youngest. There's a reason why there are no more after me. She was like, so
Yeah, it's like, we're done.
done.
Okay, just talk to us a little bit about that song. Obviously, the message is clear.
Yeah.
But make it even more plain, because this is the message of your ministry. This is the message you're trying to get across to as many young women as you can through this, through your white boots and not getting them dusty. Talk about that.
Well, it's funny. We realized this the other day. Morgan wrote my verse where it talks about my dreams and what I want for my future. And I wrote Morgan's verse where it talks about how it is worth the wait now that she's married. And I think that really just explains what that means for us. You know, Morgan encourages me a lot. Oftentimes with what she says, and then oftentimes, you know, without saying anything, just by having, you know, a solid marriage, and just waiting, and that those dreams are valid, and like God has them in my heart for a reason, and He's gonna fulfill them. And it might not be when I think when I'm ready, but the Lord might be like, no, Jamie, you're not ready yet. It's gonna be in my timing. And then for Morgan, it's
And
just
and that is just a conversation. So whether it's between two sisters or mother and daughter or two sisters at church, you know, it's a conversation. You know, open up to the people that are in your life, you know, people that you look up to that have wisdom, and say, you know, I just need some prayer when it comes to my single life, or let me just share with you what God has done with my marriage. And we just want that to show that as an example, that it's a conversation, and it's a conversation we have as sisters.
It's a conversation that needs to be had for sure. You know, I would, like I said it a million times, I'd love to be married, but the Lord is doing stuff in my life right now as a single woman. And without my mom and without my sister, I wouldn't be able to walk through it the way that I'm walking through it.
And what part do you think accountability needs to play in maintaining white boots?
Yeah, it's a huge part, you know? I mean, I've got,
But practically, what does that look like, accountability for you?
Well, I'll say, I guess maybe I'll say on Morgan's end, because when she and her husband was her first boyfriend, when they were first dating and stuff like that.
Well, I mean, there's just the conversation. I mean, we were always, we were roommates at the time. My husband and I started dating in college. And it's just little things like that.
So you're saying you guys were roommates, and so that there was accountability.
Exactly. There were little things like Morgan would be like, yo, you're watching a movie with us tonight, you know? And it's just like,
you are the third wheel. You are staying here.
Hey, and I know how to own the third wheel, because when you're the third wheel, they buy you food. So it's like, I've learned how to work it. But it's just, honestly, I mean, accountability is a huge thing. And it's not accountability because you think somebody's going to do something bad, but it's accountability because we're human. And it's important to have that accountability because it's beautiful and it's healthy and it's needed. And, you know, I talk to Morgan about everything. I talk to my parents. I literally talk to my parents about everything. And it's really helpful to have that.
Why do you guys think you have that openness with your parents?
I think because they were open with us.
Did they just kind of openly talk about birds and the bees? And
I always share this. Like I remember like the first, you know, you're a teenager, you go through puberty, and when, you know, that lady came around the first time in the first month I ever had, my mom looked at me and said, you know what this means, right? You can now birth children. And I was mortified, but I was like, oh no, like too much information in one day. It was just too much.
But she wanted us to know, like, this is the reality of life.
You know, at the same time, that was the reality, and it was the truth. And I'm glad that she felt that she could tell me that, and she needed me to know
very
that.
clearly, both of your parents did an amazing job in rearing you and raising you and educating you, in inspiring your passions and your dreams, and we're all the better for it, that's for sure. So listen, there's another song we want to hear. Why don't you just take us out of here with that beautiful song?
Yes,
We'd love to hear it.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Sunday evening, God, looking back over all the years and where I've been, looking at those photographs. I'm remembering you were right there, and you have been ever since. With every page you turn, I see your faithfulness. Ooh, the mountain where I climbed, the valley where I fell, you were there all along. That's the story I'll tell. You brought the pieces together, made me the storyteller. Now I know it is well, it is well. That's the story I'll tell. There were some nights I felt like they would last forever, but you kept me breathing. You were with me right there. Tell it. And all that you have done for me, I can never hold it in. So here's to me telling this story over and over again. Ooh, the mountain where I climbed, the valley where I fell, you were there all along. That's the story I'll tell. You brought the pieces together, gave me that storyteller. Now I know it is well, it is well. That's the story I'll tell. 'Cause you hold the broken, you hear my every cry, my every cry. You hear my, and my eyes are open, and I know that it is well, it is well. Ooh, the mountain where I climbed, the valley where I fell, you were there all along. That's the story I'll tell. You brought the pieces together, made me the storyteller. Now I know it is well, it is well. That's the story I'll tell. That's the story I'll